You're tuning in to Stellar Cycles, hosted by Alina Souza
and Eva Brown. Join us weekly as we delve into the science, spirituality, and cultural significance of our feminine cycles.
Get ready to align with your natural rhythms, take charge of your patterns, and embrace a holistic approach to feminine wellness. Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Stellar Cycles. Our goal for this episode with you guys is to continue building on what we talked about in episode 4 in the 4 phases. We're going to delve a little deeper into the menstrual phase, an unpopular yet highly necessary portion of the female cycle. So this episode is all about what your body is doing, what your system needs, the nutrients to reach for, and the lifestyle hacks suggested to begin to make friends with your period.
We love our period.
We do now. We really went from hating it and dreading its arrival to like, this is our special time now.
Yeah, because now I really just sit with myself and feed my soul. And we know that I love alone time.
Yeah, and we're going to totally get into that. Eva, what kind of current updates do you have?
I'm currently in my luteal phase. Mm-hmm. We spoke previously and I was in my ovulation and that was bomb. Now I'm a little bit tired, conserving my energy. Today was an eventful day. I got to walk to the pier that's right next to my house, pick up fish fresh from the ocean, took it home, made poke. The secret is having the sharpest knife ever, cutting it in 1-inch cubes, adding that soy sauce. It's so easy to make. And now this is going to be our lunch and dinner for tomorrow too.
Yum.
So that was really tasty. And other updates that I have for you guys, planning a lot of exciting trips coming up. LA with my girlfriend tomorrow for a few days. Hawaii is right around the corner too. And
I might join you for that one.
I know. We got to ask your hubby. Yes. I'm sure he'll be excited.
All systems go, hubby.
All systems go. Hubby. We're taking Stellar Cycles to Hawaii.
I'm sorry, guys. Disclaimer, I can't do hubby. It feels wrong coming out of my mouth. I call him husb.
I remember you did hubby a little bit in the beginning, no? Never?
Maybe a little bit, but I just couldn't get into it.
Hubs is cute.
Yeah.
I like your guys' little nicknames. And that's pretty much about it. I'll let you go, and then maybe I'll have one more I'll add in.
Yeah, I know we have one that we're both going to want to talk about.
Yes.
But first things first, I am careening towards my period. I'm in the later part of my luteal phase, I think day 27 now. So my period's going to start any day now. I've been in like ultimate nesting mode, just wanting to, like, I cleaned this house for 4 hours yesterday just because Sam and I were so tired of, like, we've been so busy and all the clutter, builds up and all of a sudden you're like, I can't stand this. Let's clean this place. So he helped out with a lot and I just, got it clean because when I'm on my period, I really don't want to have to worry about, like, physically exerting myself on, like, cleaning or dealing with things like that. Just preparing the environment for myself. Today I went and got some of my menstrual phase foods from my grocery list. That's some kale, some bone broth, some oyster mushrooms. That's just like my favorite thing to eat.
Oyster mushrooms.
So good.
Where'd you buy your bone broth from?
I honestly get it from Sprouts. It's the Kettle and Fire brand because it's grass-fed and grass-finished bones. Nice. So it's like really, really good organic bone broth. And it comes in a box. And I just warm it up in a cup in the morning.
Is it liquid form or powder?
Liquid.
Huh. How much is that?
It was like $7 or $8 for the box.
That might be better than even me going to the market and making it myself.
Yeah, it just saves you a lot of time. So there's that. Just been preparing for that. Getting ready to pimp the studio out a little more. And just working on more episode content for you guys. And then final update, Eva and I have been doing our Aura rings. These rings that like track your sleep and your heart rate and your recovery. And it all goes on this app.
Do we feel like it's made our life better or a little bit more stressed?
A little bit more stressed because I'm like not getting the score that I want and that I feel that I should be getting. What about you? Is it helping you out?
I'm a little bit too obsessed with it, but I like that though. I like tracking. I am liking that after 2 weeks now, my heart rate variability is showing. Is yours?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to go into that because of the stress factor. Mine's at a 56. My readiness score has been really on an average of 80 to 90 has been my best.
And this is out of 100, you guys.
Yeah. And it's weird because I consider myself really healthy. So I know that there's some things that are not clicking. Obviously, I have cold hands and feet. So I know that's something. And I'm sure once I get all of this dialed in, acupuncture will probably help a lot. Then I can have a 95. I need to be an A student.
Dude, I'm like, how do people get like 99? They must like be sleeping in like a cryo chamber with like 0 distractions, no noise, absolute perfect temperature.
I want a cryo chamber so bad. If there's any listeners out there that have an Aura ring, and if your score is over 85, 90, please tell us how. Looking for help.
Yes, any hacks. And I'm done with the ones that we've already heard about, like not looking at the screen, you know, lowering your lights, not eating too much before bed.
We do that.
We kind of do that.
I know lately you and I both have been on our screens, either working late at night or on our phones researching. I need to.
Sometimes watching Perfect Match.
Yeah. Yes, we do have a
reality dating shows.
love for dating shows.
I told Sam, I was like, we have to finish this show tonight because I'm not taking that into next week. Cannot. All right, so we can launch into our episode now, all about the menstrual phase.
Cool. So menstrual phase, it lasts anywhere from 3 to 7 days. And the first day of your bleed is considered cycle day number 1. The themes of this phase are going to be darkness, intuition, internal reflection. And at this time, we're really withdrawing. Our energy levels are low. So we need to slow down and rest more than any other time of the month. And also, really, everything's just going to be slow and steady, thoughtful and decision making. This is going to be a time where you're not rushing to make decisions or speed into conversations, make any rash choices. Really go inward. If someone is wanting something from you fast, it's always okay to let them know that, hey, I'm relaxing today. I will help you with this in a few days later.
Totally. We have so much guilt around taking the time around our periods that women are like having to deal with really annoying situations at work, whether it's cramps, whether it's the headache. We still, at our big age, sometimes bleed through our clothes, you know, and to have that happen to you at work is just like so inconvenient, just, you know, sets your whole day off. So it's like, it's totally okay to take the time to yourself and rest during that time and be prepared, have everything you need.
It's so important for us women to not only stand strong in our own boundaries and create space for us to have this very sacred moment in the month to be with ourselves, because that helps us become more powerful and show up better for the world later on. It's important too that we stand for other women as well and encourage them to nurture themselves and slow down during this time. It's okay to call out of work. We're not about that hustle culture anymore. That's just not for women in our hormonal cycles.
Yeah. So, you know, at this time, your hormones, they've all dropped off. The progesterone that was working in the luteal phase, the second half of your cycle, it knows to go away now because you're not pregnant. So at this time, while you're bleeding, your body is also sending out follicular stimulating hormone to kind of let your body know that we're not pregnant, we're going to get another cycle going again. But they're not really pumping as high at this time, but they've dropped off, but your brain knows that there's going to be another cycle coming. You're withdrawn at this time, but it's not negative. We got to stop seeing the withdrawal part and the isolation, so to speak, as a negative thing, because it's really around this time that you get to feel the acceptance for yourself, the inner strength that you need to gather for the rest of your cycle, and kind of assess what's really going on in your life. Because at this moment, when you don't have any hormones playing and they're not jumping around, you're actually really clear-headed.
So a good time to make decisions, but just with your own energy and slowly.
Yeah, it's a good time to make decisions that you're going to act on a little later when you have the energy and confidence that comes like later.
So let's talk about what you'll start to see within your body and those types of changes. So of course, you guys already know you will see blood, dark red spotting, or a deeper red color, maybe roses.
Yeah, like a bright red, ruby red.
Yeah,
so
rubies.
We're going to have a special episode on this, but to kind of just give you a little preview, blood that's coming out at the beginning of your period, at the start of your cycle, if it's on the darker side, it means it's older blood that's stuck around since the end of your last period. So it hasn't made it completely all the way out. If you're having blood on the brighter side, it means that it's fresher, your body's releasing. And then if you're having, spotting or something like really, really diluted, like a lighter red or bleeding a lot, then that could indicate that your uterus is like fatigued. It's tired and it's having periods a little too close together. It's bleeding a little too much.
Something that I do to work through if you have old stagnant blood is moving your hips around every day. And we're going to talk more about that too. But hip mobility, yoga poses, or really just kind of shaking your hips or twerking even in your kitchen for 2 minutes. That's good for your nervous system as well. I love how everything in our body is so connected.
Totally. Most of my cycle, I'm usually doing like resistance or compound exercises on my hips. So today it was really nice to like knowing that my period's around the corner to really dedicate some time to like hip focused yoga and like start loosening that up so it's not like stagnant and like compressed from all the weightlifting and everything.
Right. Some other symptoms you'll find in your body, I'm sure you guys are all professionals in these, but pelvic cramping, lower back pain, fatigue, cravings, menstrual migraine, it's associated with menstrual stress. And you won't be as sensitive to scents. You'll almost feel indifferent to them at this time.
Yeah, super interesting, you guys, is that your sense of smell also changes throughout your cycle, and the different things that you are drawn to as far as smell goes and scents changes based on the hormones too.
Our bodies are so cool.
So chakras are kind of the energy centers that are stacked through the middle of your body. So you have ones starting at the top of your head, so crown, you have third eye, you have throat, you have heart, you have solar plexus, you have sacral chakra, and then you have root, which is at the base, kind of like where your butt and vagina are. So during this time of your period, the chakras, the energy centers in your body that are most active and most responsive at this time would be the top, the crown chakra, which is associated with spirituality, your connection to God, connection to the universe, as well as your base chakra or the root chakra, which is connected to, or it represents your connectedness to this material world, or your sense of grounding, your sense of belonging. So as far as this goes, crown chakra is represented by the purple color and the base chakra is represented by the red colors, which also explains why we're a little more drawn to these colors during our periods. So if you're wanting to have a little bit more of a spiritual connection, get a little closer to God, get into your spirituality a little more, you can wear purple during your period to kind of emphasize that, send that message out to the universe. Or if you're looking to feel a little more grounded, a little more secure during your period, then you're going to be wearing reds and kind of browns and things like that.
Some other things you can do with chakra work, especially around your period, is when you're meditating, you can visualize the purple or the red color coming into your body, going all the way through your chakras and all the way down to your root. And basically, when you exhale, you can see it all leave your body. It can be removing negativity, toxins. And every time you're going through this visualization process, imagine yourself getting lighter, purifying yourself further, connecting deeper. Maybe you might see that purple color get brighter and bigger and then expand throughout the entire world if you want. Your mind will take you there.
Yeah, it's really cool. And you can literally like wash your brain and wash your body by this type of breath work and imagination. Sounds kind of kooky, but we've tried it. It's pretty cool.
Yes, it's probably took both of us years to come here.
Around. Yeah.
When I learned about chakras, it was when I first started yoga years ago, like 7 years ago. And I thought I would never be into it. I kind of thought it was just like a hippie thing, but you don't know what you don't know until you actually start studying. And obviously there's so many books in Chinese medicine about this. So
since we're both in our luteal phase, I've made a little concoction here of red raspberry leaf. That's really good for toning your uterus and helping it get ready for the periods and to alleviate cramps. Your little sister uses it too, right?
Yeah, she's the one who told me about it.
So it has red raspberry leaf and then some like chamomile, eucalyptus, St. John's wort, ashwagandha, some really calming herbs. So this is great for us right now.
Also, I love your tea kettle.
Thank you.
I mean, do you ever get tired of me complimenting all of your aesthetic choices?
Never tired of compliments. Next, do you want to talk about the
yin energy?
Polarity? Yeah.
Yes. So yin energy, yin, it means dark or shadow. It's the black portion and the symbol, which you guys will see yin and yang. Is it just me who thinks back to childhood when I would see those little necklaces of the yin and yang before I
Yeah,
even knew what it was about?
they like give you an impression. Even as a kid, when you don't really understand what they are, you like look at them and you're like, that kind of means something, right?
Yeah. I've always been drawn to that one because you know me, I love balance. I believe there's polarity in everything. I try not to label things good or bad. They just are. We need to have both energies. So the yang energy, that means light or sun. It's the white portion in the symbol, and they represent the opposites, yet they're complementary energies. So everything in the universe, it contains yin and yang, and it can be explained through the yin and yang theory. I pulled up a picture, which if you guys were to Google yin and yang, you guys could see characteristics of what they each represent. And beyond this, it goes into energies as well and how you even act and the characteristic traits you'd have. But let me tell you guys just about this symbol. We'll start with black is yin. And that's going to represent dark, night, cold, weak, retreating, winter, passive, asleep, and quiet. And at first, you might think that these qualities are not highly sought after because for years we've been brought up in a society where we have really faulted these characteristics, like weak, retreating, winter, passive. But this is such a good reminder that there is a time for everything, and we have to respect the cycles and phases that are laid out for us. Like, we would never disrespect winter. We understand that we need to have cold and dark days, passiveness. There's a time for everything. Because, of course, for the yang, that's going to be white, sun, light, day, hot, strong, advancing, active,
The
awake,
exact
and
opposite
loud.
of winter. Like
Yes.
summer, full blaring energy, go for it.
Exactly. And now everyone in our society wants to always be the yang. That's what feels good, what we show as successful. But truly, you can't do that 24/7. It's actually very unhealthy for you. And this is why we always say that our cycles is what represents how we can balance ourselves best in life. And the menstrual cycle is really what brings us back into this yin energy.
I really think it even goes on a daily scale. On the 24-hour period, we get both sunlight and we both get also nighttime, retreat, quiet, rest. We get both in the day.
It's kind of cool when you start to look at feminine and masculine energy too, because feminine energy would be considered yin, which is the dark, the moon, the retreated, like this is your intuitive energy. It's also the more receptive energy, where the sun would be considered masculine, which is yang, and that's going to be the giving energy, the life force, the builders, whereas yin is more of like the creative,
Nourisher.
transmuting energy. Yeah, you take in whatever you're given and you transform that into something very beautiful.
I love that.
So just want to encourage you guys to use both energies, and we are going to have them at different times of the day, different periods of our life. But during your menstrual cycle, you really want to embody and hold space for the yin traits.
Absolutely. And like, again, don't feel guilty for, taking that retreat because that's what that time is designed for.
Yes.
During this time, your concentration, creativity, everyday tasks are going to seem mundane. You're not going to be wanting to do the same like daily to-do lists that you've been doing your luteal phase. You're going to have a little harder time getting going. So again, you don't need to be running around doing a lot of things because it is going to take you a little longer to wake up and get comfortable and get ready and eat and everything. You're going to have a little slower thinking and reactivity at this time. So that's why it's not a good time to act on certain decisions or make huge decisions or take on really important assignments or projects. Creative energy, it's not going to be as external during this time. It's going to be more internal. So creative with yourself, kind of like Eva said, going inwards, kind of thinking about where you want to go next with your life, what's been working in this current cycle, what hasn't been working. So you can get really creative with your internal part. During this time, you also have a boost in map reading or learning complex skills because abilities around special awareness tasks and hand-eye coordination are highest at this time, which is pretty interesting because, you know, the myth that like, oh, women on their periods aren't any good, they're so irrational and stupid, but it's actually the best time for you to do something kind of complex hand-eye coordination wise, or like read a map and like know exactly what's going on with that.
Self-analysis and course correction are really what you want to be focusing on. So things like journaling, meditating, mind dumps. Is there anything else that you like to do? Those are mine.
I think if you guys have ever heard about shadow work, it's a really great time to get into this because as it's represented in the cycles, it's the going under, going inward, dark, dare I say moist, wet kind of energy. That's how it's described. But
sticky, slow.
Yeah. And kind of to mirror that, this can be a good time to go into the parts of yourself that you don't really like, that you might want to improve on, because it gives you a really clear way of looking at the shadow aspects of yourself and thinking on how you can change certain cycles, certain habits for yourself. So this is why we keep harping on self-analysis and course correction is really great at this time, because you're able to really take a look at yourself pretty clearly.
During your menstrual cycle is definitely the time to do it, because when you really think about your consciousness, we're the only ones that will ever experience our consciousness. Mm-hmm. Like you will never be able to be in mine and yours. Mm-hmm. And for us to go deep inside of ourselves, it's such a great way at connecting with yourself and the universe and really being grateful for your body and your mind.
Yeah. And the cyclical nature of things, that things don't always stay the same.
Yes. We'll make mistakes. There's just so many things we need to accept about ourselves. And the shadow work is where you look in your past and you realize like, yeah, things happen, but I accept and forgive.
What do you think would be some great questions to ask yourself when you're on your menstrual phase and you're in this deep, reflective, meditative state?
Every day, ask yourself how you're feeling. I think you should ask multiple times a day, and ask yourself how you want to be feeling for the next month. Ask yourself how you feel like you showed up for yourself and for others. What areas do you feel you have tension in or restraints or blocks? Start to just really reflect on your month and see where these things are coming up for you. Asking what kind of feelings am I constantly, especially bad feelings. I think a lot of times we're working through those bad feelings and those triggers. So finding them, being aware and working through where that came from, because it always roots from childhood. And I think that'll help set up a good month.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I think another thing you can be introspective about is kind of meditate on what you didn't complete or what you didn't accomplish during your last cycle, and kind of ask yourself, why? Was I avoiding this? Was I resisting this? Do I really want to accomplish this goal? So this can be a really good time for reflecting on what happened in the past cycle, and as well as setting up the dominoes for the new cycle.
I love dominoes.
So during this time, of course, you guys know what you're wearing on your period. It's unique to every single person. Sometimes you might be wearing the same thing that you're wearing throughout the month, but most of the time you're going to want to wear something more comfortable. We all know that the ugly clothes come out at this phase, right?
The messy bun.
You're wearing outfits that would never see the light of day. You're not necessarily putting on those sexy clothes that you were wearing during your ovulation time. And you're like not really glamming up. You're not really feeling like doing your makeup too much. But if it makes you feel better about what your body is going through, if you feel better by glamming up a bit, by toning up your appearance, absolutely, by all means, do that.
Just be mindful of your time and how much energy you're giving to these things. Mm-hmm. Makeup takes work.
Oh, it does.
Hair too.
I'm like, did it take less work when I was younger, or was I more into it? Did I have more time, less responsibilities? I loved sitting and doing my makeup.
Same.
For like an hour and a half and get really
just
good
how we're so obsessive now about new things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly where it comes from.
# never stop learning. So we're going to have a dedicated episode on diet, and not just one episode. We're going to keep reemphasizing diet so many times over in this podcast, but a little glimpse into your diet during the menstrual phase. You are eliminating the uterine lining in your body, and that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy, and it also takes a lot of nutrients because of the nutrients that are in the blood. It takes those nutrients out of your body when you're losing that blood. So focus on eating foods that replenish those lost nutrients. If you are not vegetarian, you do eat meat, you're going to want to stick with iron-rich meats like red meat, beef. It's pretty good during this time. I know you like to eat oysters. Oysters are really great to remineralize your blood during this time. And if you don't eat meat, then dark beans can be really great.
Yum. Kidney beans.
Kidney beans, navy beans, black beans.
Lentils.
Lentils, yes. So seafood and sea-based veggies such as kelp, nori, seaweed salad, all of those types of foods are going to have those rich nutrients and kind of key elements that your body needs. Menstrual phase foods are really deeply restorative in general for, again, your blood, your kidneys, and you're going to want to lean towards more comforting foods. So think winter time. We're eating more soups, more stews, things that warm us, make us feel cozy, ground us down. This is kind of what your body's going to be craving during this time. Decreasing things like dairy on your period and high-fat meats is really going to help you because, as we all know, and the studies have shown that dairy and high fat can lead to inflammation. And it's the inflammation during your period that gives you the pain and gives you all these symptoms like headache and bloating even. So you want to reduce your inflammation as much as possible during this time, really heaping up on those iron-rich leafy greens, veggies, sea veggies. We've already mentioned the oyster mushrooms we're obsessed with.
Yes. Easy things. They can probably add in turmeric to help reduce inflammation, even ginger, cinnamon in your tea.
Yeah. And ginger and cinnamon, as well as dates and things like dark chocolate, you're allowed these treats on your period because they really help curb those sugar cravings where you'd naturally be reaching for ice cream or cookies or candy because you want that comfort. Things like cacao, dark chocolate, dates, ginger, they can all curb those cravings and it's still a healthy choice.
What's great about cycle syncing is when you guys know when your period's coming a week ahead, you will look at the grocery guide, plan your shopping list, and be set up.
Be ready
so you're
once
not
it comes.
diving into those bad snacks that aren't doing us many favors.
Yeah, keeping the right things on deck is super important. Alcohol tolerance during this phase is very low, and this substance can exacerbate health issues like cramping, bloating, feeling sick or feeling low or like sad or depressed, anxiety. So you wouldn't recommend to be drinking during your menstrual phase, even if that does seem like it might comfort you, ease your anxiety, but it can really mess with your sleep and the other processes that your body really needs to go through at this time.
I can do all of that. What about sport and physical training?
What do you like to do when you're on your period? Are you like still maintaining the same rigorous routine? Are you still weightlifting? What kind of exercises are you going for when you're in your menstrual phase?
Every month is different. I'm always listening to my body every day, but usually I'll stay consistent with walking, especially shout out desk treadmill. Doing my hot girl walks with you outside on the pier, my favorite.
You know, we've always had hot girl walks, but I feel like it's cool to see that like girls love to do it. You know, they just love to get out there, put their headphones on, have a cute workout set on, just like speed walk. We're getting into that, you know, early. It's great.
Things are trending on TikTok that I never thought would trend, like doing your laundry now, like the romanticizing your life, which we're going to start doing one day. Our life, someone needs to romanticize our life. It looks too good on a daily basis.
It really does.
And the other things I do are a lot of stretching. I do that naturally even. Every morning I wake up and stretch and really get into my hips. Working out at the same level as you did earlier in the month can be really hard around this time. You want to make sure to just get those anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits of chill exercise, like resting, yin yoga, walks, focusing on your hips, hip-focused yoga movements, and
or
just
even
breathing.
Yoga for your period. They have that on YouTube.
Yes, and breathing into your hips in that moment just for 10 minutes a day can work wonders. Working out in the first half of your cycle seems to have the most benefits when it comes to muscle growth. And it can help you feel that you have control over your body if you go and work out during your period.
Yeah, if that's something that helps you, again, there's a huge spectrum. Like you might be the type of girl that like your period is so painful that you can't even think of doing any extra movement. But even getting up and like doing a little light walk, a little light stretching, you really benefit from the anti-inflammation and antioxidant properties that exercise has for that.
You feel
reason
so much
alone.
better. This is all science-based, by the way. Y'all could Google this yourself. We highly encourage you to.
Yeah.
Does weight training normally help you on your period, or does it hurt?
So here's the thing. If I feel like I'm trying to go at the same rate that I'm normally going, like let's say at my ovulatory phase when my testosterone is higher, my estrogen is higher, I'm like, I want to do it all. If I find myself trying to do it at that same pace when I'm on my period, I find that it makes my cramps worse. So I'm going to try a new thing this coming period where I'm not going to necessarily lay off the exercise, but I'll still do a little bit of like squats, just like a one set of 8 reps. That's it. Just to like get that blood flowing, but also not overwhelm my system, but still like work those muscle groups so that they're not like being neglected during my period.
Nice.
Yeah, but still focusing on things like the yin yoga and the walks and just kind of moving the hips around.
So talk to us about our skin during the menstrual phase.
So in the menstrual phase, overall, your body temperature is going to drop, which leads to kind of poor circulation overall. Your oil secretion, the sebum production also drops at this phase because your hormone progesterone, which was kind of increasing all that oil, has dropped off. So now your skin isn't getting as much circulation. It's a little drier, a little duller. So this is not a good time to overwhelm your skin with new products or a new routine. You're just going to want to focus on the basics of skincare, kind of use a gentle, non-irritating, non-drying face wash, and then just always remember to moisturize on top of that.
Since blood flow is at its lowest, do you think doing the gua sha stone or face massages are a yes?
And that's a really good time too while you're having more time to yourself. Because here's the thing, I want to do gua sha so bad, but I cannot find the time to do it. So while you're on your period, it could be a really nice little self-care thing to incorporate to just kind of get that circulation moving and that lymph going so it's not getting stagnant.
Yes, because I swear I do see a difference in my skin when I am on my period. It just looks dull.
Yeah.
But if I do the gua sha stone or facial massage, I feel like it opens up. It's a little bit more dewier.
It gets the skin moving. Again, like as much as you might be tempted to just lay in bed the whole day on your period, your body still needs the movement. Same thing with your face. Your circulation's down, the moisture is down. So adding in that facial oil and a little stone massage is really going to pep you up.
Great.
And you want to focus on the basics, healing, soothing your skin. So you want to find like a cold pressed, non-pore clogging oil, something like jojoba oil would be great. You guys can look into what oil looks good for you and your skin type.
Dry brushing on your body and finish it up with lotion. Call it a day. Maybe you can have your hubs do that for you.
Right.
Self-care.
Yeah, it's like more of a deeper time to connect with your partner. Do you want to get into how your menstrual phase is affected in the area of your relationships and sexual life?
Yeah, so during this time, it's a reflective time, as we've been saying, and you're wanting to go inward. So although you may not be feeling super sexual, it's not a bad idea to connect with your partner, if that's what you desire, of course, but also it's a good time to express deep feelings of love to them.
Right, like that yin energy,
Very slow and intuitive, open to receiving
receptive,
and nurturing what's around you, especially any time where you're pouring so much love into yourself. That means your cup is overrunning with water and you're able to fill into others around you. So definitely look to your closest relationships and see how you can create a deeper bond that goes beyond like a physical connection. Do you do this with your hubs?
Honestly, yeah, definitely. We're always in learning place.
We all are.
We all are. So he's definitely getting like more on board. He's like linked to my app, but he doesn't look at it.
So
but he does have access to like my cycle and like he knows when like my days are and stuff.
That's actually a great idea that we'll talk about later for our app. For men to get notifications of your woman is now in this phase. We would recommend having great conversations with her during this time, ovulation phase, period phase. Continue slowly with her.
Yeah, proceed with caution, right?
Yes, exactly. Brilliant.
And then your sleep in this phase is going to be a little bit more affected because your body's a little more restless. You're going through this heavy process of eliminating your uterine lining. We talked about in the 4 phases episode about how that takes about 30 to 40% of your energy. So it's really common for women's sleep to be the most affected in the early days of their period, kind of when they're having the strongest symptoms, the most discomfort. So yeah, menstrual symptoms are often the culprit of this loss of sleep during the early part of the menstrual phase. Here's why it's important to prioritize your sleep during this phase, going back to the fact that you're in this naturally meditative, subconsciously tuned in state. You have better access to your dreams. So prioritizing sleep will help you better connect with your dreams and glean certain messages from them. So that's a little menstrual cycle hack.
Because your dreams are your subconscious. And if you can work in your subconscious and know what your subconscious is trying to tell you, you can tap into great things for yourself.
Yeah, so just schedule in if you have to and prioritize sleep here. And if you have a partner, if you have family, let them know that this is something that helps me feel better. This is something that helps me get through my period easier. Like sleep is the basis of health. We all know it.
Yeah, it's our recovery session. Whenever I go to sleep, I literally just like put my hands on my heart. I'm listening to affirmations and I'm just visualizing myself. And we talk about all the time, go into a little cocoon, almost like a avatar sleeping pod. And I'm just feeling all of my cells restore and rejuvenate me. Sleep is the best. You know, I'm a fellow Pisces, as you like to tell me. So all of this has been really helpful. I want to wrap up with the challenges that we may have a hard time with during the menstrual phase, which is surface level social interactions, expectations of being focused and energized, low energy and activity, starting new projects, juggling multiple things, structured tasks.
This all sounds really stressful. You know what I mean? So keep going.
The structured task can feel a little bit heavier at this time. Acting on ideas might be a little bit harder. Again, this is all about just giving yourself grace, understanding that things are going to feel a little bit tougher. You're going to feel slow and sluggish. The quote unquote hustle isn't going to, like, that's not the vibe during the menstrual phase. Just
it's not going to benefit anyone.
Yes. And slow down. Just really put up boundaries and give yourself permission to check out and communicate to the people that matter when you need to. So your work colleagues, your intimate relationships, your family, but really respect the season that you're in. It's only going to be 3 to 7 days. You're going to be a little bit more sensitive. So slowing down, finding space and getting your alone time is going to be crucial.
And it might be challenging too to get away, but you're going to want to prioritize that. And the benefits that we get to have in this menstrual phase, I don't think it's highlighted enough. The amazing gifts that our period gives us is that deep inner processing and reflection time that we really get to take for ourselves without any guilt, without having to answer to anyone else but us. Letting go of things. Again, it's your physical manifestation is your period. Your body's letting go of the lining that it doesn't need anymore. So you should also let go of things that didn't serve you in your previous cycle, things that you don't want to continue on with. Physical restoration, renewal of energy, intuitively feeling the right direction or action, being able to see the bigger picture, being in a natural meditative state, access to subconscious ideas and information,
downloads,
deep connection to the universe, acceptance, deep level problem solving, and access to magical realms because of how thin the veil is when you're on your period.
I love all those things.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorite episodes. I really just loved delving into the menstrual phase in this way. I hope it helped you guys as much as it's helped us in the past. And now to wrap up the show, we want to change the way that you're approaching your menstrual phase. If you get a period, change your mindset towards it. Start looking forward to it because of all the benefits that Alina just listed. Remind yourself of those things and just be grateful for that time that we get to connect with ourselves.
Yeah, changing my mindset was the start of my journey for healing, was that like, okay, I'm not going to be a hater to my period anymore. I'm going to welcome her. Even if she sucks for a little bit, she's not going to suck after a little while.
Exactly. In life, we can always choose to find the positive in things or the negative. And speaking of someone who's came through a lot of negative and has created so much positive, I promise you, it's just always better. People say it's like toxic positivity, quote unquote, but I'm telling you, I've lived a long life. I've done it both ways. It's just better to take the positive road because you get whatever you focus on. So the more you focus on the good things, the more good things that will happen for you. You're going to be able to like manifest on your period and just create magical things for yourself. But anyways, get excited by preparing for your period several days ahead of time by making sure you have everything you need nearby, #grocery guide, and massage your womb and think or say nice things to your womb. I always love putting my hands on my stomach and just giving my body love. This is your God-given personal time. And with that being said, comment under our latest post on beginning to repair your period and tell us what you're most excited about changing for yourself.
Yeah, so that's something that you can begin to do if you have a period that you want to change something about, or if you just want to get more in tune with your menstrual phase, time of the month, and enjoy it a little more, start gaining some benefits out of it rather than seeing it as the enemy that comes in and ruins everything.
Seriously.
If you don't get your period, if you're on a type of hormonal birth control that you don't get your period on, you still can utilize this menstrual phase and this yin energy, this kind of winter energy to glean the benefits for yourself as well. So you can pick the time around the new moon, which is when the yin internal energy is the strongest in the world, to carve out some time and space for some of your personal inner reflection. So slow down your life for a bit and create space in your week to go inwards and course correct. You can also pick out a self-care activity that really helps nourish and ground you during this time, that helps you feel more feminine and intuitive, and use this as your reset once a month. I promise you'll see some great benefits in your life as a woman when you start to use this energy and start giving yourself a window of time to go inward and refocus.
Yes, live with your cycles. Have a stellar cycle.
Have a stellar cycle.
Well, that feels like that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That's another episode in the book, you guys. Yes. Thank you guys for supporting us. As always, we would appreciate any sort of feedback, any rate, review, comment, share that you want to leave us. Any feedback is valuable, you guys. Yeah. We're here to help you along your journey.
Always.
All right, that's it.
Bye.
This show is intended for inspiration and entertainment and is not meant to replace your physician's medical advice.
Music by Moon Blue.
Editing by Alina Thousand.